Push the button. I don't know any
Mad
other
thing.
line.
I love
Eh?
this shit. I love it. I love it. I love it. What I wanted to talk to you about a few minutes ago, like, was the more we understand ourselves, right? The more we witness the play out of the mind, the more we try to stop the mind from kicking in, the more we get more of the mind. And what I just wanted to ask you a second ago is about feelings, right?
Uh-huh.
We're feeling beings designed to feel, but what we've done our entire lives is tried not to, right? The more we try not to feel, the more we suppress it, the more we push it down, the more we actually interact and fuel the mind. And that's kind of like the cycle I just wanted to ask you about, because I kind of visualize like being a hamster on this hamster wheel, trying desperately to get off because I'm exhausted, right?
Mm,
Running round and round in circles,
mm.
knowing that I'm I'm a feeling being, but the more I'm in my head, the less I'm able to allow these feelings just to be what they are, whenever they are, to let them drop
Yes,
away and fall.
yes. You see, feeling. I mean, this is just my perspective, okay? But you know, I love that I can feel energy, right?
Mm.
And have done since 3 months after awakening, and it's just got more and more and more. But if you were to take everybody's awakening journey, their ascension, they're going from being, as I say, like what we were talking about just now, the programmed mind, which you could call the monkey mind.
Mm.
Yeah, because it is a program, and you think you're that. You think you are your thoughts. What you're saying, if you focus more on how you feel, but not define how you feel, because when as soon as you define how you feel inside your body, then that becomes an emotion, right? Because you're defining it. If you were to just not define in words, so not use your mind, but just feel how you feel in
In
any
your body.
circumstance. Are you still there?
Yeah.
Yeah. My God, I thought you'd phrase them, but no, you're just listening.
Yeah, very attentively listening.
Okay.
So just like you're saying, allow your
Yeah.
body to feel whatever it is feeling without going, I am angry, I am
Yeah, to
anything.
feel. So say hypothetically you get angry. Okay, that feels a certain way in your body.
Mm.
Your mind defines how you feel based on this, that, and the other story it's choosing to tell it you, right?
Yeah.
Okay, forget the mind
Mm.
and just focus on how the energy feels in your body. And as soon as you truly, truly drop the thoughts and the definition and the labels and the meaning and the story and the, all of that stuff, as soon as you feel the vibration of how it feels
Mm.
in that moment, there is peace.
Yeah.
There is an energetic vibration. Yes, because again, we're not this idea that we're a human being with the brain and our consciousness is in the brain. No, we're consciousness with the body. And if it's sort of trying to get back to this ascension, which is where I'm trying to make my point, is if you focus on the feeling, the energetic of how it feels in that moment with no mind thoughts or definition, you'll see or feel that it is actually just a vibration.
Mm.
Now, you fast forward to people's ascension and where they're going, it is that you become the soul. And what is the soul? The soul is white light. It's intelligence connected, always connected in every single moment to source, to God. But it's vibrational intelligence. It's intelligence made of light and vibration and waveform. So by saying feel how you feel when something's happened, like go into your body, physically feel it, you're actually taking those steps on your journey of becoming the soul incarnated. Because the soul doesn't think, the soul doesn't have linear words and thoughts. It's white light outside of the field of polarity. It's all here, it's all in, but it's outside of the polarity field. It's outside of the mind's program.
Yeah.
So to actually feel and stop defining, I feel this way because blah, 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 to stop defining actually helps you align more on your stepping stones to becoming the soul incarnate, meaning the soul that then operates the body and operates this processor.
Yeah. A few nights ago, I was just lying on my sofa, feeling, right? In my body, it felt like visualize a bottle of Coca-Cola, 3/4 of the way full, and like somebody had just shaken the shit out of it, right? So the pressure was like literally, this is how it felt in my body, going from my feet to my head to my feet to my head, like this. And I was like, shit, this doesn't feel good. I don't like how this feels. And then I was like, we talked about this before, the breath, pause, breathe. It was like my body's trying to catch my attention here. It wants me to feel something. I'm like, shit, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. And then it was take a breath. Then I witnessed my mind kick in. And I likened it to like a pinball machine, right? So my mind was desperately trying to grab onto the feelings, the emotion, or, you know, going through the energy going through my body. It was trying to latch on and label it. Like a pinball machine going ping, 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 hitting off all these things. When it wasn't happy that it, you know, when it couldn't catch me with the first thought, it went after a second and a third, and it was like hitting all of these pain points. So you can visualize a little pinball machine pinging off these little pain points within. And it just went on a rampage. And I was like, just breathe, just be. Now it was like a little internal shit show. It really tried to take me in and under. And only I was aware in that moment. I had music, beautiful music in my ears. I was just trying to chill out. And it was like my mind went, you're too relaxed. Let's have a flashback there to last Tuesday. Now, you know how Tuesday is linked back to the week before, and the week before links back to this. And then you remember what he said and she did. And I'm like, breathe. And I witnessed this energy as I tried to allow the energy to move through me, not attached to what the mind was telling me. Oh, you're really pissed off, Melissa. You're really heartbroken right now. You're really sad. You really should be pissed. You really should be angry right now. I mean, I'd be angry if I was you, and you're dead right to feel like that. And it was like, what in the hell? And I was like, that doesn't feel good. And I heard you talk a few minutes ago about like the specific the vibration that we feel. So when you hear in your mind, you really should be angry right now. You've every right to be pissed. And, you know, you're aware of it working through. Next thing, I just took another breath. I tapped into what I was listening to, as in the music. This Santara was playing the handpan and chanting. And I was like, oh my God, this music is so beautiful. And then I had another wave come in of that. This music is so beautiful. And I could feel the difference between, you've every right to be pissed. Oh, this music is so beautiful. I was, it was, I wrote that I felt like I was outside of myself, having like an out of body experience, as in I was observing it as I was feeling and experiencing it, I can't even talk now, on the sofa, just in awe of what can happen via our mind, how it can consume you, how it can tell you how you're feeling, how it can label and attach and really pull you in and under.
Yeah.
If I had allowed myself to just go off on that tangent, when I just stayed and allowed this feeling to work through me, it's like it dissipated. I didn't try to change it. I didn't try and talk myself into some positive mental attitude thing, you know, let's, you know, do this shit, you know, nothing. I just let whatever what was trying to be felt be experienced within my body.
Yeah.
But I can see so many people that are really being pulled in and under via their mind, and it's crazy.
Especially this year. I'm just going to get a ruler, Melissa, just because I want to just like to demonstrate.
Go for it.
Okay, but especially this year,
Yeah,
people.
it's crazy this year. It's like somebody's gone and put a spotlight on everything.
And all it is, it's the mind reacting, or at least it's the body reacting to the energy that is coming into the planet, that based on I'm going to say levels of consciousness, because levels of consciousness are also frequency based, hertz based. Yeah. The body increases its ability to withstand those higher hertz frequencies that are coming in. And so we expand and expand and expand in our energy frequency. So because so much energy has been coming in since January 2nd this year, it can feel like it fries the brain if you're very much a person that's in your brain, because some people are more in their heart and some people are more in their mind, you know, and some people are kind of like a mix of the two. So what it can do is cause the thoughts to race and race and race and race, because everything is speeding up. Why is everything speeding up? Because the energy hertz of the whole is getting higher and higher, and we're absorbing it to become higher dimensional conscious beings.
Yeah,
does that make sense?
Perfect.
But going back to you being on the couch, or anybody sort of you know, going through different emotions are just, if you think of it this way, it helps. I think it helps, right? Emotions are your consciousness showing you that you're not in alignment with your true being.
Yeah.
So if the true being, which is in alignment with God, in alignment with source, and it's that magic state or place to be that allows you to expand and expand and expand and become higher and higher degrees of energy, which means higher degrees of consciousness, right? So there's that magic point, and that feels like peace, balance, harmony. Peace, balance, harmony, joy, love. It's all there. But everything is the realist, so that's there. Everything this side of it is a lower energetic hertz to this magic point, yeah, which allows you to spiral and expand upwards in consciousness. So everything this side is a lower hertz frequency, and everything that side is a higher hertz frequency to that balance, that peace, that neutrality. So when you feel an emotion, say whatever it is, say we call it a negative one, like anger, sadness, grief, loss, depression, every one of those emotions is a different energetic frequency. But all that's doing, all it is your consciousness saying, ugh, this doesn't feel good. This doesn't feel good. I don't feel good. This just doesn't feel right for me. And what that's showing you is whatever you're feeling isn't in alignment with the true being that you are.
Yeah.
So in other words, it's saying, you're feeling this over here. Okay. But this is who you are.
Mm.
And so really it's trying to direct you back to being the true being. And it's the same the opposite end, because remember, it's a polarized field. So the opposite end is excitement, ecstasy, passion, happiness, all those excited ones. But you can't sustain that. You can't live every day 24/7 in that state, because it's too high a frequency to sustain. So you'll drop off that. It's never 24/7, and you'll come back to that state of just harmony, just balance, peacefulness. And how does balance, harmony, and peace feel? Do you know how it feels? It's just love. It's a state of being you could call love. So all emotions are like an energy gauge, a barometer, to show you that you're having these experiences and you're out of alignment with that. And it's that's going to let you expand and expand and expand and expand into the higher consciousness that you already are.
And all of those things are really felt. They're really physically felt.
Yeah.
In your body. Well,
yes.
we definitely feel, well, we feel them all, don't we? We feel all the negative ones. We feel all the negative, positive. They don't even feel like appropriate words to use here, because like you said, it's always the body. It's always you trying to bring you back home to the self, isn't it?
Yeah.
What were you going to say that time?
I was just going to say, say you're having a negative feeling or even a positive feeling, but it's easier to talk about the negative ones, although you can exactly talk about the positive ones in the same way, because it's all the same in a way. They're just different energy frequencies. Is what human beings tend to then do is, well, I don't feel good about this, and then they attribute the story to it. So they don't feel good because it happened outside of them, and therefore it's their fault, it's that person's fault, it's this country's fault, it's this government's fault that I feel this way, right? No, you feel this way because you're choosing to feel this way. You're having thoughts that you're choosing to have, and your thoughts, your point of view, your stance, your whatever thoughts are creating the energy within you that is then feeling the emotion. So if you drop the definitions and the stories, it's then as a way to try and get you back into balance, I'm talking about. Is if you drop the definitions and the story and just feel the energy in your body of how it feels, like you're sat on the couch and this just doesn't feel good. Take that in breath, and you might need 10. It depends how far away you are from your true self, but the more you do that in breath and the out breath, the stronger that connection becomes, so that eventually, instead of it taking 10 breaths to do for you to feel that balance again, it would just take you one in breath to feel that balance again. So the breath really helps.
I want to ask you more about that in 1 second, right?
Okay.
Remind me, because I forget. The breath, it's really important. But I want to come in another angle, right? I just want to come in on the same topic from another angle, because so you just talked about pretty much what I understand to be like the emotional guidance system, right? The vibration, the way the body feels, the way the body responds, reacts, triggers, right? this epic word that's been thrown around there so freely at the moment, right? People perceiving triggers always to be such a bad thing. This is from another angle, right? It's the same thing. My understanding is it's the same thing that you're talking to. If you are triggered by someone, something, some situation, anything basically outside of you, that the trigger isn't always a bad thing.
No.
It's your call to yourself again. So what I heard you say a minute ago, just to bring it back into context, is the way that we feel within ourselves when we go through the waves of emotion, naming something good or bad, but the trigger is the external. Similarly, right, we've got so many people who become so consumed by what another person has done, another person has said, the viewpoints of another person that collide with your own, anything, anybody's actions that when they don't fit in your box, you know what I mean, the way you perceive the world or the way the other person perceived the world, and we collide, we clash, we trigger each other, that's another route back to that space of balance, peace, stillness and love that you're talking about. What, like when you've got so many people out there consumed by being triggered left, right and center, that's when you're talking about the breath being key to not trying to fix the external, just trying to recalibrate the internal. Is that right? Am I after hearing you right?
Oh, I love that, sweet. I love that. You know, it depends on your perspective. And so I'm just giving mine, and I trust mine, and I'm focused on my perspective, and I have been since I wake. Is the point of a trigger. So something happens outside of you, whatever the situation, scenario. It could be family, could be work, it could be friend, partner, country, pandemic. Yeah. I always see from the higher picture, not the personal. I mean, I relate to the personal because I've been a human being all my life so far. But I relate to the higher truth or the higher picture than what is right in front of you, which is the trigger. The whole reason, and we talked about this just earlier, so I'm just going to repeat it, you know, is the whole reason we're here is to become conscious creators. Now, this is conscious creation in alignment with God, with the presence of God as a consciousness that you become, that is fully connected to God, and create from that consciousness. In other words, you're creating heaven on earth. You're not creating within the polarity field of this is good and this is bad. I don't agree with this person. They're pants. I don't like them. They annoy me. They trigger me. Blah, 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 blah. Right? Because you'll just create, if that's gonna remain your perspective, where you're always blaming the outside, you're always going to create more of that. You're always going to create more to be triggered by until you learn. Because your consciousness, your higher hertz consciousness, yeah, it's a higher frequency consciousness than we've experienced as the human being. But your consciousness, a trigger, is absolutely a gift, because your consciousness is wanting your human being to go, okay, I've created that. Why have I created that? Because it's one thing on sort of with, especially within the spiritual community, it's one thing to say and to write and to talk about the fact that we create our reality. But if you're blaming somebody outside of you in your self-created reality, then you're not taking responsibility for creating it, are you? You're just not. you're either, so there comes a point on the spiritual path where it really clicks into place, where you do know that actually everything in your story you're creating. And it's at the point that it clicks that you then become far more aware of what you're choosing to create. Now, God, this is a huge subject. But you get to choose what to create. You get to choose whether this goes full circle, Melissa, back to our start of our message in the morning. You then get to choose what you wish to create.
Mm-hmm.
And so what comes to you, you can say yes to or no to. You can say yes or no, but it's, if you're going to become a conscious creator as opposed to a human being creating in forgetfulness, then you're going to have full responsibility for everything that you're creating in your own world, in your own holographic field, because in truth you are. You've always been creating it. And so when you get triggered, it's your consciousness, your higher consciousness, wanting you to notice your own trigger and say to yourself, okay, why do I feel this way? Why have I been triggered? Why does this upset me? Why does it hurt me? And then go within and look for and find a belief system or behavioral pattern that you're running inside of you that you can blow up, let go of, neutralize. And then what happens is that part of you inside your programmed mind dissolves to allow you to expand into more of the consciousness you've come here to remember. So every single trigger, there's always a gift. But if the person continues to blame the outside for how they feel, how they've been triggered, there's a huge part they're missing until they don't miss it anymore. And it's up to them how long they take. They can take a whole lifetime to not get this point. And this point is they are the conscious creator, unconscious creator at that point, but they are the creator of their story and reality. And until they take that responsibility and ownership for it, they're just going to get more and more and more, because the higher consciousness is always wanting you to understand that you are creating it. Why? For the timeline, which is a collective timeline that will unfold, and it's not far off now at all, not far, for the timeline where people one by one will be divine conscious creators of their reality. And that's what we've come here to be. And that is the change we've waited for.
I love this shit. Can I take you back? Can I take you back into what you've just said, if I can remember it? In between feeling like a kid at Christmas here and listening to my daughter upstairs singing. Okay. Every trigger is a gift, is what I heard you say. As the human being in the full throes of the human experience, a lot of the times when that trigger point is hit, we forget that it's the gift. We have the choice to respond or react in that now moment. If we choose to react, we choose to not see it as the gift that it is, and the obstruction or pain in the arse that it is, whatever, come to, it's happening to us, right? We perpetuate the suffering within ourselves. We blame the other person. We project out. We bleed all over people who didn't cut us. We just completely stay in it. Or we use this as the opportunity to take that breath, to pause, to acknowledge the gift that's in front of us, to look within in that stillness that can literally last seconds if we can do it, to gauge how the body is feeling. Where's the frequency? So we're going to assume that if it's a trigger, it kicks off on the negative side of that scale you talked about. The triggers within the physical body are, say it's anger, for example. The frequency of anger kicks off. You can't deny that when it kicks in. If you can take the breath in that moment, remember there's an opportunity for you to tap into what is it that you are feeling. Witness how that attaches to the mind. The mind is telling you, reinforcing the story. That can look like, say, for example, hypothetically speaking, say you have, issues with control. You had them your entire life. People controlling you, people telling you what to do, people talking at you instead of to you. So this frequency is active, and it's old, and it's potentially ancient, because it's experience after experience after experience, compounded on one on top of the next on top of the next. So the trigger right in front of you gives you the opportunity to witness how it feels in the body, access the memory bank of what it is you've experienced, gives you that choice point in that now moment. Do you want to keep feeling this? Because we're aware here, like as if you're communicating with your mind, your heart, your body. You already can feel you're out of sync, giving you the choice point in that now moment. Do you want to keep feeling this? Do you want to engage with it? Do you want to dance with it? Or do you want to take a breath?
Yeah.
Pause. Be still. Because whomever or whatever is outside of you has nothing to do with you. You cannot change what's happening outside of you in that now moment when you're being triggered. But you always, like you said a couple of minutes ago, what I heard you say is we always have that choice within us. Do you choose love? Or do you choose to like re-engage over and over? Because we keep perpetuating our own suffering, and we don't even know. We don't even know.
I love that, and I think you've made a point that I now want to make another point to the gift, okay? Because a lot of people could say, well, XYZ happens to me, and that's not a gift, okay? So let's add another understanding that we are here to embody and become wise to and become balanced to, which is that yes, if we're reacting, if something triggers us from the outside, then yes, if we're choosing to expand our consciousness, if that's what we're choosing, then we are going to look inward and go, well, why am I triggered? Why do I feel this way? We're going to do the work. I mean, not everybody is necessarily here to do that. So they will just remain at that consciousness level, whatever that is. And that's fine. That's fine. Everybody's playing their roles and parts in this grand play. But one of the underlying designs of this game is choice. So we were talking about this earlier today, is the ability to say yes and to say no. And, you know, how uncomfortable it is when you're wanting to say no to somebody. And then like, you know, I witnessed in myself going into all sorts of reasons to justify my saying no. Yeah. In an ideal world, I don't want to use all my energy up because I can feel the energy drain from me when I'm explaining why I'm saying no, when all I really want to do is go, thank you, but no thank you.
Yeah.
That's all I want to do.
Yeah.
This light game, it's a game of light. It's designed, it has certain light laws that underlie it. What's it about? And it is about becoming conscious creators, yes, but if you think about it, conscious creators make conscious choices. Yeah. In unconsciousness, in forgetfulness, we make unconscious choices. So going to that point about, say, being controlled, that's a really good one, because I can talk a lot about that. As an example, is I came into this lifetime to have the experience of being controlled and controlled and controlled all the way through my life, to then awaken, see the control, and rise out and above it. So what that means is I can no longer be controlled. So I've gone from the being completely controlled all the way through to no longer being able to be controlled, which means I can just say yes or no, as opposed to saying yes all the time to people because you want to please them, because you want to please your boss, you want to please your family, you want to please your friends, your partner, whatever. But you want them to be happy, so you say yes, but actually it's not something you want for yourself. It's actually dishonoring you. You're not being true to yourself. You're people pleasing.
Yeah.
And so underlying this design is the understanding that what we're doing is becoming beings that make conscious choice. And that requires you to choose, do you want this happening again and again and again? Is this what you're wanting to create? Because if it's not enjoyable, why are you choosing it over and over and over and over again when you could say no? So, you know, do I want to go out this Sunday? I've had loads of people ask me today, are you doing anything on the 21st of March on the equinox? And the answer is I don't know. I don't know. And so am I going to people please just because they want me to do this, that, and the other? And the answer is, well, I could. That would be the old version of me, but no, because it's not honoring me and my awareness to wait and be in the present moment and then do of the highest choice in that moment.
Can I zoom in on your stuff for a minute just to pull it apart a little bit? Not to use you as my own little personal guinea pig here, but sometimes when you do, it helps. So what I heard you say was you experienced being controlled your entire life. Then you got to a place where you came up and out of it, right?
Yeah.
Right? So now, bear with me. In listening to that, I can visualize that you've gone from one place to the next. I know that in order to get from A to B, you have to have the experiences, right? And then say if you've got somebody listening to you right now going, well, how did you get from A to B?
Yeah.
It's all about how, I understand when you said about the choices to honor yourself. Am I right in saying then, I just want to be very clear, that in order to get from A to B, to get to a place where you knew you were honoring yourself or dishonoring yourself, and this is kind of to jump back into what you said a few minutes ago, you had to repeatedly feel and feel and feel out of alignment with yourself, out of alignment with the love of yourself, in order to here's a situation, here's a trigger, here's a gift, here's a trigger, here's a gift, over and over and over, until you start to say no to anything that doesn't feel right within you and yes to everything that does. I think there's a lot of people, around me in this, you're talking about the spiritual community and stuff, and a lot of people listen to other people talk and they witness them in what they perceive to be an elevated place. I know I did this. I would listen to people in the spiritual community speak about things. They would speak about, reaching a specific place. And I'm going, well, how in the hell did you do it? Because you look and sound like you've got your shit together, but I'm over here in the trenches and I think I'm going to like suffocate some days. Some days I'm up, some days I'm down, not realizing that what was happening all along was how I was feeling was my gauge to being closer to or further away from my own personal peace, and actually overcoming a cyclical pattern because I'd stayed in it too long. How do I know I stayed in it too long? Because it felt like shit for all that time. And like you said a few minutes ago, people realizing that their own experiences are offering them time and time and time again the answers. Everybody has the answers themselves to know when they've had enough of a specific cycle, and to remember that they have that choice to engage over and over and over again. I think we keep forgetting. We keep forgetting we have a choice. And that's one thing that's consistent throughout this whole journey, is to remember that you have your own personal choice, your own personal responsibility to yourself to do something if you feel that you're out of alignment, to not compare yourself to anybody else, anything else in this world, because we're humans, and we're all riding these waves of the highs and lows that the mind pulls us up and into. And to just remind ourselves that we're all doing an impeccable job in any given moment to just do our best. When you realized that you had been allowing yourself to be controlled over and over again, what I heard you say was, it came to a point where you had a very clear knowing that, yes, I want to say yes to this. I actually want to say no to this. And then taking the action to do it. Because that's another part of this.
I think there's 2 points, and I'll probably forget the second point, but if I just remind you to remind me, which never works for us.
No, never.
Is I want to go back to choice, and we'll go back to it being a design that we evolve into making the highest choices again and again and again. Okay, so choice is the second part, but for the first part,
I remember choices.
Is, this idea that say like I came into experience being controlled, and this is in every part of life, being controlled. I allowed it, and to then come out of it and to be actually outside of the dream now, where it's impossible to be controlled. Okay, so it sounds like it was this instant thing, but no, it's a huge journey.
Yeah.
And what you've said, I so resonate with, because you're basically giving the answer, is how does that start to change? Well, the signs were there all along, because when you're making a choice that's going against what you're really wanting for yourself, it doesn't feel good.
No.
But you do it anyway, because you don't want to let this person down or that person down, or you know that if you say no, this person's going to get annoyed, and you don't want their anger in front of you, so you say yes just to be the peacemaker, or you do this and that for other people, because if you don't do it, you're frightened of the judgment, or that they'll be upset with you. There's so much behavior and beliefs within the choices that we allow, and these are unconscious choices. But how do you know? It's because it doesn't feel good inside you. And then you get to sit with, though, when you've awakened, you get to sit with your choices, and I've said yes to this person, but I don't want to, or it doesn't feel good, or and then also bearing in mind that on the awakening path, we're becoming more and more beings that live in the present moment as well. So we can't plan 6 months ahead, or 3 months, or 2 weeks ahead even. if we're going to honor ourselves fully. Yeah. Because the highest honor is in the present moment. Do I want to be on here with you, or do I want to be elsewhere? Yeah. It's all about making the highest choice in any one
For
moment.
yourself, yeah.
And so it is this journey of seeing that actually, oh, I'm not honoring myself. Now, when you look at that, you realize there's a huge degree of lack of self-worth. And so the journey is in identifying those belief systems of that everybody has, that are different for everybody. But if you do allow others to control you, as I did, there's a lack of self-worth. And so you then have to work through that belief system of lack of self-worth, to look at the opposite, which is worthy, to then come back to the fact that there is neither one or the other, and there just is.
Yeah.
And that in itself is then kind of the springboard to you beginning, and I do emphasize the word beginning, to have some degree of awareness of your sovereign field, which is your energetic field in and around you. And so clearing a lack of self-worth is a stepping stage to understanding sovereignty. And sovereignty isn't something that, you know, if you live clear lack of self-worth, you're done and you're a sovereign being, and people talk about sovereignty quite a lot. No, it's a journey. It's an absolute journey. And learning what sovereignty is and your sovereign space, it does start really with the ego of defense, but you have to get past all of that and then just be happy being and choosing from here, and be happy and at peace with that.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Please, Jesus, let me remember this question the way it's after coming up in my head. Okay. Because I want to be able to. I'm an overthinker, and the overthinking plays havoc with my thing. So sometimes if I can compartmentalize something, it's easier. That's the mind coming in.
You're
I'm
frozen,
aware.
by the way, but I can hear you. Oh, there you go. You're okay. You're moving
right.
again.
So say you're in the moment. You know you have a choice point to say yes or to say no. You've chosen to say yes when you really wanted to say no. Okay. You go into this little loop in your head. Okay, I'll give you an example. Say you've gone and said yes to spending the afternoon with me, right? And we're sitting on the sofa having the chats, and the only place you want to be in the planet is sitting on top of Glastonbury Tor, but you said you're going to come with me, right? We do this all the time. People do this all the time. They say yes when they mean no. Resentment, bitterness, pissed offness. What am I doing here? I wish I was gone. I wish I was sitting on the tour. Please stop talking, Melissa. You know, whatever it might be going on, right? So we internalize all of these things instead of saying, no, thank you. Right? Now stay with me. So this is the loop we drop into when we've said no. We feel it. We feel the resentment. We feel the bitterness. We feel the annoyance, frustration, irritation at ourselves. When I heard you say then how it jumps off, it drops down into another level of, say, the self-worth thing. I didn't want to say no to Melissa because I don't want to offend her. I don't want her to reject me. I don't want her to think that I'm a dick, whatever it might look like, right? How will we know? So say you're somebody who hasn't done extensive work, inner work, to know that it's the self-worth thing or the self-love thing. What I'm understanding by listening to what you said was your body's going to tell you. If you're sitting in the middle of somebody else's space, somebody else's situation, if you have dishonored yourself and said yes, when every fiber of your being just wants you to honor you, just wants you to do what makes you happy. And it's as simple as that. I don't want to. No, thank you. But we always say, so many people get pulled in. Then the mind consumes, judges us. We judge ourselves. We give ourselves shit. We've no compassion for ourselves, no sympathy. We tell ourselves that we're selfish, or you should do this, or you should do that. My understanding of what you said in the long ass winded way here is a way that a person will know that they have dishonored themselves, that they haven't given to themselves what they actually need, is because they're going to feel it vibrationally, physically. They're going to feel it in their body.
Yeah, I think, again, do you know, there's so many layers to everything, and I think definitely to say that you will know because of the way you feel. So you're saying yes, but inside you really mean no, but for whatever reason you're saying yes, and so you know that this is energy, this feeling inside of you that doesn't feel good. Why? Because you're out of alignment with the true you, the true version of you, the highest version of you in that moment. But I want to just add a point to that, which again can get lost in teachings, is if you did say no, okay, so let's look at that and say you felt it was a no, to say no inside. Where's that no coming from? Is it coming from a balanced space of love within you saying no? Or is it coming from the ego mind? No, blah, 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 blah. Okay, because one will be a human choice in unconscious awareness, and one will be a conscious choice in balanced awareness. Do you see? So you could say no from two different perspectives of yourself,
And you're going to know that too.
And yeah, so it's important to, you see, sometimes we, okay, let's take this of the yes or the no scenario, right? And say we actually did what we thought, right? Which was like, no, I'm not doing that, and that's that, right? Where's that coming from? Is it coming from a reaction, from a trigger, from a hurt, from a point of pain that you're saying no? Or is it a no that is balanced, harmonious, honoring, respectful? No. You see, one is unconscious behavior, the other is conscious.
And you're going to feel them different.
One is, yeah, they're going to feel different, and one is a low frequency in terms of hertz than the other, which is a high frequency. And this is unconscious creation, which humanity has been able to do for thousands of years. And what we're here to do is raise our frequency to become conscious creators. And those conscious creators will be people that make the highest choices that are based on peace, love, harmony, not in a selfish way for themselves. Because again, this is another point. It's the choices that you make aren't from a point of view of singular human selfish lower self. The choices that you make are from your higher consciousness that is considering the greatest good of the whole.
What I heard you say was,
What I heard you say,
I'm making shy of it now, but what I heard you say was making the choice from accessing your wisdom, the wisdom of yourself. So what I mean is, like, No, there's not a chance I'm sitting on Melissa's sofa listening to her talking shite for the whole entire evening. Not a hope. Every time I do that, I do that all the time for everybody. I'm always the one who's sitting there listening and listening and listening and listening, right? That's one version that feels a specific way. Or, you know what, Melissa? I'm going to say no today because I really, really want to go and visit the tour. And when you said yes to that, you honored you honored me, you go up to the tour, and then some other type of magic happens over there.
Yes.
And so what I mean by accessing the wisdom is you're accessing the wisdom of, okay, hang on a minute. If I say no from one frequency place, I'm actually fueling my own cyclical patterns of this thing. If I say no from the place of wisdom, which is every time I have done this and said no in that manner, it doesn't feel good. But when I honor me, when I fully honor me and what I need in this now moment.
Yes. Yes. Many years ago, I was shown a higher place of living, if you like, a higher dimensional frequency place of living. And the way, so let's fast forward and pretend that that is now, okay, for everybody. When we honor ourselves from, not from the ego selfish perspective, but from the wisdom, the higher wisdom of knowing what is the highest thing to do in the moment. Yeah. It will always feel of love, of honor, of respect, harmony, peace. We have to remember that that choice that we make is energy emitted. So the thoughts that create that choice, the words that come out of our mouth to the person we're speaking to, they are energy emitted. The action that we take of, say, going to the tour as opposed to talking to you, yeah, the action that we take is our highest choice. Now, if you times that by as many people on the planet, it's all energy emitted. And so you're emitting higher vibrational energy, not just for yourself on your journey and your life and your creation and next creation and next creation, but you're emitting energy to the whole collective field of humanity, to the kingdoms and to Gaia. And that is your contribution to the whole, your energy, as opposed to making a choice that's coming from, well, I'm sick of doing this, I'm fed up, okay, yeah, you might be, but that's the energy you're emitting, and that is also your contribution to your own path, to your life, to the what you're creating next for yourself, which will be more stuff to look at. And that is your contribution to the whole, which is of a low frequency. And this is, you know, it's a huge subject, conscious creation. That's really why we're here, is to become it consciously. And it is a stage at a time.
Is personal responsibility a path to a world where everybody does that? Imagine everybody doing that, like really just owning their own shit, like, and honoring themselves across the board.
Yes.
Personal responsibility and choice. I mean, it's not happening collectively. Like everybody, we're going to flip a switch and the whole planet is going to be like this. But it's a moment by moment choice in a now moment to honor you, for me to honor me, next person to honor themselves from the highest place, over and over and over again, via personal responsibility, the choice that we all have.
And to understand, you know, that actually there's no, at a higher level of truth, there's no right or wrong choice. There's just choice. But what matters is what underlies your choice, because what underlies the choice is energy frequency. So you're going to create more of the same by your choice, or you're going to create more in alignment to, you know, what you've come here to create. There's no right or wrong choice.
I was going to say, can I ask you one more question? Because I feel like a little wee sponge here every time I get to talk to you. We do this. We talk about one thing and then it's gone off on a mad tangent. I was talking to you earlier on about the unfolding of life, which I'm not used to, right?
The unfolding of what, Melissa? So that
the unfolding of life, the unfolding of each moment by moment. Like I said, I'm not used to this. I'm used to schedules and compartmentalizing and, in a very mind way, head way, trying to understand myself, understand you, understand this, understand that. And then this week, I was saying to you about witnessing, allowing things to just unfold. So a situation happens, to not label it, to not judge it, to not do anything, just be with it. Allow whatever feelings arise from it to work their way through, and let the next moment unfold and the next one. And what I wanted to ask, right, is to loop back to what we talked about a few minutes ago, is the key to allowing each moment to be as it is, to try and be in the present moment as best we can, where we have more awareness of our choices, to just, how would you say, acknowledge whatever feeling comes up in that moment, if that makes sense.
What's the question?
So, yeah, there you go. That's me for you. I love when I've loved this week just getting out of my own way. I've loved the freedom that's come with trying not to attach to anything. And that's something I want to nurture. I just want to nurture it. But a lot of the time I don't have a clue what I'm doing. I'm winging it. And that's what I wanted to ask you. Because we're feeling beings, we're designed to kind of like feel. We're not designed to suppress or bottle or contain. We're designed to feel. And my direct question then is, get specific, Melissa, is a way, am I right in saying a way to nurture that unfolding, the allowing? Is it the breath you talked about a few minutes ago? Is it to just not, how do I say this? I don't want to attach to anything anymore. I just want to allow the unfolding.
Yeah.
The simplicity of the breath, is that one of the things that allows us to remain the witness of our lives, as opposed to the ones trying to control everything? If that makes even more sense. I'm not really great at trying to word that, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I understand, but it is a massive subject, because fundamentally it's the difficulty is being in the mind and those thoughts running you.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you can practice anything that stops you from your thoughts running you, and practice in a balanced way, then certainly the breath is more than just a tool. The breath, we talked about this, I can't remember whether we were on this recording or not, but we've already talked about the breath, and it's far more than a tool. It's actually a link that you can expand and expand and expand for the rest of your life, and it will keep expanding you and your connection to source. So the breath, definitely when you're focusing on that in breath and then the weight there and then the out breath, you'll notice you're not thinking, or you're thinking less when you're doing it, because your focus, your attention has gone to, okay, I'm going to do the breath work. So if you meditate and don't do a meditation where there's lots of talking or music and stuff like that, if your meditation is to take you out of thoughts, then you're doing a tool that helps you to think less. Now, if you practice whatever it is that works for you again and again and again as a way of life, you're going to think less. In other words, that reactive, constant jibber of the mind, you will then be able to master from outside of it and stop your thoughts just like that. But it takes a choice, it takes dedication to that. Some people won't want to, but it's like, I wish I had something round to hold on to, but it's like if this was the brain, and just as an analogy, I'm not saying it looks like this because it doesn't, but if this was the brain, then there's this part here that we think is us. That's the part that doesn't stop thinking and talking. Is that who we are? No, it's not. And when you become more of what you are, which is consciousness, again, going back to the brain here, instead of this running your life and your every moment, apart from when you go to sleep, you've become more of this. This expands more and more. Everything runs in parallel. So you access,
like
or you utilize far more of the brain than humanity has used. The brain only knows for this lifetime. It's a processor. It holds information. And you know, people have allowed that to overpower them. And so unless you can find it, well, some people do yoga, don't they? And as a way of stilling the mind, or maybe, you know, fishing, or I don't know, whatever floats your boat, really.
There's something for everybody.
Consciously choose something that helps you not think, because in the not thinking is the peace, and then you become the peace more and more, and then you can suddenly just be peace. And then you are peace each day. You are that harmony, because you've overridden that monkey mind that just won't stop.
If we can let the mind do what it's designed to do, which is like, you know, stop us from touching the fire, or walk in front of the oncoming traffic, or remember that today is Monday, or what even day is today? Wednesday. Is today Wednesday? There you go. So just like what I'm hearing you say is, it really is so powerful, isn't it? Just the breath.
Yes, and it's not that we lose the brain by choosing to quieten it. It's on the absolute contrary. It's a complete and utter mirror, because it's by quietening down, you know, what Buddhists call the monkey mind, and they say that in a kind way, not in a derogatory way, but by quietening the monkey mind, eventually, because it is all a process, it allows for the brain and the neurons in the brain to open up and open up and open up, for the point where the soul merge takes place. And then the soul, which is intelligent energy and data, infinite data connected to source, then works with the brain in a far greater way. So instead of losing the mind, you gain the mind, but in ways that are way beyond typical human, what's the word?
Comprehension, like
expectation of what a human being
I think
is.
if I dared ask a question about that, we'd be here forever. So I think we might save that for the next time.
All right, love.
Oh, I love this shit. Thank you so much. Thank you for this. Oh,
you're welcome. And yeah,
I love it. Until the next time. And if we can even remember to talk about that topic.
What topic?
Hey, see, I have no idea. I have no idea. But until next time. Until then.
Okay. I love you.
I'm gonna hit the stop so we can take a breath and breathe. Love it.
All right.
Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.